就这样吧，就先这样吧，我先关了。
On the evening of September 19th, a student protest broke out in a university in Hubei. It is a reflection of the wide range of entwined issues in epidemic-stricken China, which has led to considerable civil unrest and protest attempts. Students at the university told overseas Chinese media that the university had imposed a tight lockdown on students in the name of epidemic prevention. Students aren't even allowed to see a doctor at the hospital, yet families of faculty and staff are allowed in and out, and the power outage in the student dormitory was the trigger for this protest. The police are here. The school steals electricity and doesn't pay the fine. I got to save this. Is this your last live streaming? Yes. Some dorm buildings have been without power for more than a week. It's a hot region. Without air conditioning, students have been sleeping in the hallway of their buildings at night or on the rooftops. The students all paid for their accommodation, including electricity. The reason for the power outage is that the school stole the electricity meant for the students and used it for other purposes through equipment modification. On September 17th, the power supply company in Wuhan said that it issued a notice of breach of electricity use and electricity theft against the school and charged a fine of about $280,000. The school admitted to the charge but hasn't been over to the power supplier to settle the fine. Meanwhile, it tries to pass the fine to students, charging $42 per student. According to a screenshot circulating online, school counselors posted a notice in a group. It reads, "For any students who participated in tonight's gathering, once the school identifies them, they will be directly reported and expelled." The Chinese website quickly blocked the message, and no further progress is known at this time. For nearly 3 years, the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, has continued its harsh anti-epidemic policy, testing the tolerance of a growing number of Chinese. This is the graffiti that has appeared at a neighborhood nucleic acid testing booth in eastern Beijing since August 2022. The graffiti reads, "It's been 3 years. I'm numb. Freedom or death. And prevention and control is stupid, fools." The phrases, nucleic acid every day, ignoring science, infinitely disturbing people, degrading animals are seen printed on the paper, and some read, demolition. This is a scene in Henan province where a nucleic acid booth is smashed. It isn't an isolated case either. Chinese people are risking their lives when sharing pictures of this sort because of the strict online control and punishment. Xinjiang is now one of the hardest hit areas by the outbreak, but whether it's actually the hardest hit is actually tricky to tell, because in some places, officials may indeed have trouble covering up the large number of infections, while in other places, officials just decide to impose harsh measures for a relatively small number of infections.
Don't do this without a mask, okay?
The government is a slave master.
Go inside the building, wear a mask, and come out again. If you don't wear a mask, what should you do if you get sick? Are you drunk?
I ask you how many days this place has been under quarantine control. How many days have we been locked up? I ask you. I shut you up for 50 days. How do you feel?
You're not alone. Everyone in Yining City is locked down.
These leaders are all useless. Trash. This is a woman complaining and cursing in her WeChat moments.
Damn the local government. They have no brains. When something happens, they just seal the door of my apartment. We have been back from the hospital for 5 days, had 2 nucleic acid tests, and had no problem. But now the door is locked with a wire. What if something goes wrong? How do we get out? Should we jump off the building? Who sealed my door? When I find out who did it, I will end his life with a knife. All they know is to bug the average people and not let us live. Damn it. The lockdown has been in place for more than 40 days, and we all have small businesses. How are we supposed to make a living and support our children and families?
This old man waved a stick and drove away Dabai, who came to do the nucleic acid test. Dabai is a Chinese term for the anti-epidemic staff wearing white or blue protective clothing. Animals also seem to be tired of nucleic acid tests. They are trying to escape from the circle of Dabai. On the early morning of September 18th, in an outbreak hard-hit area, a transfer bus carrying 45 epidemic-related individuals rolled over, resulting in 27 deaths. Local residents said that the involved individuals were only close contacts. They weren't confirmed positive cases. That is to say, if these people stayed isolated at home and weren't forcibly taken away for quarantine, they would not have lost their lives. Netizens have taken to Chinese social media platforms to express their outrage. Hashtags related to the accident attracted more than 100 million views, but the topic didn't make it to Weibo's top searches. Comments have been screened under the related popular posts. After the incident, local officials apologized under public pressure, but efforts to haul away large numbers of residents in big buses haven't yet stopped.
来拉人了。
Look, there are so many people. All the residents of the 3rd unit of the 8th building have come outside. It's densely packed. 5 buses loaded with people have just left. These people are waiting for buses to come. Buses aren't here yet, but police are here first. Here are the buses. 3 buses. Why do you need 3 buses? Because there are many more people over there. What makes you think that you won't be on that early morning bus? This comment on Weibo attracted thousands of likes. Someone said, from deleting your account, exterminating your pets, breaking into your home, busting open the locks, sterilizing your finances, restricting your personal freedom, to now taking your life, it isn't done in one step. We are all in the same bus, it's just not rolled over yet. Shortly after the incident, a WeChat posting was immediately circulated on the Chinese internet. The text was signed by Gao Yu, Executive Deputy Editor-in-Chief at Caixin.com. In 2020, when the pandemic first broke out in Wuhan, Gao traveled there to report when the city was under lockdown. He wrote in his WeChat circle of friends, "Because a very few people may lose their lives due to infection of COVID-19, 1.3 billion Chinese people are forced to join the madness. More people die in car accidents every year than from the new coronavirus. Why don't you ban driving? Not a single person has died from the Omicron variant in Guiyang, yet 30,000 people are forced into centralized quarantine. It's time to wake up." This media person also included 3 objections: resolutely oppose universal nucleic acid testing, resolutely oppose zero COVID on epidemic prevention, resolutely oppose a closed-door state. In early September 2022, CNN counted that more than 70 cities in China were under lockdown or partial lockdown, affecting more than 300 million people. But there was still no sign of officially relaxing the epidemic prevention. On September 21st, China's Health Commission published that there were new confirmed cases in 20 provinces nationwide, with 1,610 places listed as medium-high risk areas. In addition to the southwestern provinces of Sichuan and Guizhou, the 2 autonomous regions of Tibet and Xinjiang in the northwest are also considered to be hardest hit by the outbreak. Sources say that Tibet, with a population of 800,000, has 200,000 positive cases. Lhasa, the capital of Tibet, has become a ghost town.
Shops are closed. Everything has come to a halt. The entire streets are quiet. So quiet. It's not even that quiet on New Year's Day. It's surprisingly quiet. Watching the streets like this, I feel something inexplicable in my heart. The entire city is really silent, as required.
On September 23rd, the epidemic broke out again for who knows how many times in the northeastern province of Heilongjiang. Look, in the capital of the province, a high school alone had nearly 2,000 people taken away for quarantine. It's really welded on. Look, the security gates are welded on. This building has won the lottery with infections. This is my neighborhood. Whichever neighborhood has infections, they will come after it. I hope it doesn't affect more places and let the impact be limited to us. This scene is really terrifying, frightening. This place has been under intermittent lockdown control. There are still many places in China that are under almost uninterrupted lockdowns. For example, this city in the southwest has been closed down for 9 months, and residents have to do nucleic acid tests every day. The shops are closed, and it's been a ghost town for quite a while. It can be predicted that more cities will be put under lockdown in the coming weeks before the 20th National Congress on October 16th. Recently, this has included economically developed cities such as China's capital, Beijing, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen. This is Yueshou district of Guangzhou. On September 19th, all shops in this district were shut down because of one single positive case. At the same time, the CCP also vigorously pursued the normalization of nucleic acid testing. More than 10 cities, including Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and Taiyuan, have implemented measures to normalize nucleic acid testing. As you can imagine, people are asked to gather in close contact and test once a day or even several times a day. If they don't test positive this time, there is a greater chance that they will test positive next time, as long as they are tested every day. Almost no one in China can avoid testing for nucleic acid, making it highly profitable. But most of the profits have gone into the pockets of powerful Chinese communist groups. This man hid in the farmland, but he wasn't able to escape. Another man fled to a cave near a cliff in the mountains in order to escape the government's nucleic acid test. A drone was dispatched and detected the human presence here, so the epidemic prevention officers came after it. However, the man got away and the government hasn't caught him yet. Incidentally, drones are increasingly used by the CCP in a game of cat and mouse with the public. Various governments are continuously tapping into the potential of drones. For example, recently, Shenzhen has 4 mall-based drone delivery spots and 11 trial air routes. Over 80,000 food delivery orders have been completed by drones in Shenzhen so far. The drones are also applied in the medical field, with hospitals delivering their nucleic acid testing samples for COVID-19 by drones to save time. The distance from the hospital to the testing center is about 15 kilometers of ground transportation, but the flight distance is only about 10.3 kilometers. Drones help us to cut the transportation time from 1 hour to within 15 minutes. In the midst of a rapid economic downturn, how can local governments cope with the already deficit finances? Many governments are beginning to rack their brains to profit from large-scale forced quarantines. Usually, so-called close contacts are sent to mandatory quarantine to stay with positive people. It's indeed a way to get more people to become positive.
Is there a fee for quarantine now? According to the county's WeChat public account on September 22nd, the local Outbreak Prevention Command Center said that since September 21st, Zhenxiong County has decided to charge all people in centralized quarantine with a specific fee of 100 RMB per person per day, and that is $14 for several locations, including sites at nursing homes, and $21 per person per day for some urban quarantine facilities. For the rest of the facilities at the edge of the city, they will be charged at a rate of no more than $21 per day. All people in quarantine are required to pay a one-time fee upon moving into the quarantine place.
The municipality of Chongqing has also begun to take action. According to a document issued by a district government in Chongqing, mandatory quarantine charges have been implemented there since September 21st. Mandatory quarantine in public rentals is charged $42 per day for room and board. People quarantined at hotels are required to pay for the hotel fees incurred for room and board. An official in charge of the market in Chongqing who requested to remain anonymous told Radio Free Asia that the quarantine charges mainly apply to people returning from overseas. Now there is an overt and covert push for quarantine charges in various places, in part because the government is really out of money, and in part to discourage the movement of people in order to reduce the pressure of clearing up infections. The official also pointed out that as frontline managers, they know the practical situation, but their advice is largely ignored, and they were even warned when discussing this among themselves. She said, "The top brass in Chongqing also knows the situation, but they dare not offend the people above. So the whole system from the top to the bottom is aware of the situation but pretends that they know nothing."